now for a quick Devar Torah. The Haftorah this week is Isaiah, who's telling us not to be in despair when bad things happen. Like in despair. Because like we undergo big problems. There's two dangers that this week's parsha really wants to stress. One is that when you're nothing seems to be going your way, right? You get in despair. God has forgotten me, or I don't believe in God anymore. I believe in the revolution or the government or whatever. The other problem that we face as Jews is what happens when everything is going right. Then we forget about God because I did it. I'm a self-made man, and I'll worship the God who made me, self-made. So this is two sides of the same coin. We go through life. There are good times and there are bad times. Everybody's going to experience these good times and bad times, whether we like to admit it or not. Bad times can lead to despair. One of the interesting things is that in a population that is religious, that they believe in God, they say, okay, this is the hand of God. I don't understand why this is happening to me, but there must be a plan. But as long as I know there's a plan, I'm okay. And these people have a much better mental attitude towards things going on around them. Other people, they commit suicide. This horrible thing happened. It isn't worth living anymore. Now, on the other hand, you have those people who succeed and say, business, religion gets in the way of business. I have to go to synagogue every morning, and every afternoon and evening. I have to learn. I could be out there making money. Why should I have to? And then one day a week I can't work. But that's the point. To remember that yes, you've succeeded, but that you were given the tools by God. There used to be a radio talk show host who used to say that his talent was on loan from God.
What was his name?
Anyway, but the point is somebody said to him, why do you say that? Isn't that a bit egotistical? And the answer that he gave is very simple. God gave me talent, sort of like a loan, or if you will, among Jews we'd say an investment. God invested in you certain talents. How you use those talents is up to you. But after 120 years, and we get up to stand before God, God will say, I invested in you this talent. How did you use it? Did you use it for the good or for the bad? Did you ignore it and not use it at all? And that is the message of the portion of the week and the Haftorah. Always remember that God has given each and every one of us our unique talents. How do we use them? How do we make it better for people around us? And just because someone has succeeded in business does not make them evil, just because someone is poor does not make them evil.
But if they have a tear? What about if they have $1 billion? What about if he had a tear?
I won't get into those issues. But we have to remember that if you are successful, it's through the help of God, that He gave you the talents and you use them correctly. Or on the reverse, if you're poor, you haven't taken advantage of your talents, or maybe it's just things that are just happening. But God allows things to happen to teach you a lesson, much like Tevye, who one of his big complaints to God was, God, you made so many poor people. You must love them, but can't you get me a little money? He sings the song, If I Was a Rich Man. But if you notice, Tevye never doubts that it's part of God's plan, that he be who he is. Something to think about.